Jane Goodall is one of the most influential evolutionary biologists of our time, and so I thought she would be completely fit to be a role model for my project. Jane was born in Bournemouth, England, and she grew up looking over her backyard garden and the specific house of where her love for nature really grew. And her favorite hobbies were reading at that time and still to this day. But when she was 8 years old, she read the book Tarzan. And ever since then, she had always wanted to understand and go to Africa. And so at that period of time, she didn't know. But when she finally turned 23 years old, she got on a boat and she turned up in Africa, and everything ended up exactly how it should be. When she was 23 years old, she went and met Dr. Louis Leakey, who offered her a job at the local Natural History Museum. And she worked there for a little bit, but then she was actually able to be sent to the Gombe Stream Game Reserve, where she was able to study wild chimpanzees. And her passion and knowledge and high energy for understanding what they meant really allowed Leakey to feel like the academic training that Jane didn't have because she didn't go to college was a big advantage to her because she didn't think traditionally. She thought in a different way that other scientists wouldn't. And so she actually discovered and understood things because she didn't understand how traditionally it would have worked if she would have actually gone to college. Jane is a very admired scientist, and she's so willing to create her own notion and path that led her to become a renowned scientist. She was featured on National Geographic and on the front page, and she has truly paved a way for women and the information that we know about biological primates. And I find it fascinating that of how hard she really did work. Jane's basic understanding, her question, the so what of what she's trying to figure out is the study of ethology of biological primates in chimpanzees. And what she actually did find out after her 60 years of research is she learned to challenge scientific ideas. And so she realized that chimps are omnivores, not herbivores. They use tools and they make their own tools, which at the time were only thought to be something that humans could do. Her main study was between the relation of humans and chimpanzees and how they were in relation to each other, how they were in common. And she would do time logs. So every single minute that she was watching a chimp, she would study their movements. She would study what they were doing. She would study how they were behaving with each other. And she found that chimps actually even understand and behave with each other the same as humans do. In the Gombe rainforest, to the left of figure 1, you can see that these are all of the national parks in the Gombe that she was studying, where all of these chimps were and how they were characterized on a community range. And so with this area, she took table 2, which is her study that she's done recently. This is her most recent study that's come out about health monitoring programs for these chimpanzees. And they were integrating monitoring with ongoing non invasive research on simian immunodeficiency viruses, or SIV-CPZs, and to support or expand the validation of non invasive diagnostic investigation. And so this is just the focal point to examine potential pathogens so you can see which ones were spillovers into humans and different pathogen types that were able to be tested. And so they can better understand the wildlife in the greater Gombe ecosystem. Her future endeavors involved and are very big and broad, but in the American Journal of Primatology, future endeavors are the expansion of the Gombe rainforest in Jane's mission to go beyond the chimpanzees and beyond the national park to include a broader view of repairing the ecosystem. And she realized this because she actually flew over a part of the Gombe rainforest that was when she was in an airplane, and she saw how much forest had been deforested and had been dissipated. And so she felt like she had this urge to understand not only chimpanzees, not only primates, but to understand the ecosystem as a whole. And so now she's fighting for the environment, fighting for what these habitats are doing for these animals. And so her new institution that she has created, that is for the conservation of wildlife, is starting to integrate a larger interface of wildlife and health data that still focuses on chimps, but still can be reached on a global level so people understand what is going on with our habitat and how we need to be protecting it. And then my two sources that are academic journals are number 2 and number 4. And I'm so very grateful that I got to do research on such an amazing person and that she has been such a foundation for our understanding of evolutionary traits and biology.